Nikon is now making video-centric, more affordable lenses. Hello and thank you for joining. This is Dr. Ali and you're watching Tech Mission, the largest Arabic-speaking camera, gear and videography channel on YouTube. Now addressing you in English from Dubai. Yes, Nikon is making the F1.4, 50mm and 35mm, and I bet more to come. Compared to the S version, even the F1.8 S 50mm is $100 more expensive than the 1.4 equivalent. Why is Nikon doing that? I'd like to answer from my own perspective after the intro. So, why is Nikon doing this? Why do we have f1.4 lenses that are more affordable than the equivalent f1.8? Now, I think that Nikon is starting to do what Sony has been doing for a long while. When you are to buy a Sony lens, you have the option between the G Master, the top of the range, what I call optimized for photography lens, sharpness edge to edge, best performance in autofocus, best performance in everything, and of course, a heavy price tag. But if you are a videographer, and I always, in my Arabic channel, when anybody asks me, what lens do you recommend? I say, are you a videographer or a photographer? If the answer was photographer, I say go for the G Master. If the answer is videographer, I say always, without any fail, always go for the G, not the G Master. Why would you pay for G Master glass if you can have a way more affordable, even half the price sometimes, option that is perfect for what you need, which is videography? Are we seeing the same here? Now I have 50mm f1.4 that doesn't have the S badge. That is $100 less expensive than the f1.8 S from Nikon, which is a fantastic lens. This is the first lens that I ever had in Nikon Z platform. Okay, it was this one and the 2470 to be exact. So both of them are the first lens I ever owned for Nikon Z. Now, this is a fantastic lens, but it is 1.8, and yet it is still $100 more expensive than the $500 f1.4 right here. Now, the same is happening with the 35. This is 35 f1.4, and I don't have the 1.8 S, but I have with me here the 35 f1.2 S, which is a superior, really superior lens. I took it with me to Georgia on my last trip, and I got really breathtaking photos when it comes to sharpness, when it comes to contrast, when it comes to performance. This is a superior lens by all means. Now, why do I have the f1.4 that is less expensive than the 1.8, which I don't have, and of course the 1.2? My answer is still the same. This is a new lineup from Nikon, and I suppose we'll see more and more of these f1.4 primes. And by the way, this is the same that we have seen in the zoom arena. There we have the 2875 f2.8. That is not S, it's not labeled S. It's Nikon's version of the famous Tamron 2875 that has been best-selling for a long time, and we're now seeing all manufacturers do 2875 zooms that are less expensive than the 2470. So here we are, we have a new lineup of lenses that Nikon, in my opinion, is targeting videographers and content creators with. Now, these two lenses, how do they perform? The f1.4, the 50mm and the 35. When it comes to autofocus, we have the stepping motor, we have the good autofocus. It is not nearly as good as the S equivalent, especially the f1.2 equivalent. It's not as fast as that. Is it quiet? No, it's not 100% quiet. There's this very small whirl that you hear, but it's a very adequate autofocus system. It's very good for what it is. It does everything that is required from it. When it comes to image quality, I'm not going to show you the charts. Okay, I did the charts and I confirmed the findings of masters like Dustin Abbott, for example, who did confirm that there are compromises in sharpness and contrast around the edges in apertures below f2.8 in both these lenses. So yes, there is an optical compromise, but I would like to remind you that there is the same compromise in other brands as well when it comes to cheaper lineup of lenses. The Sony G lineup, for example, is heavily reliant on profile correction. If you remove the profile correction, you will end up with a lot of optical issues, especially distortion and vignetting. Pretty much similar to what we see here. So it is reliant on profile correction. Once you get the profile correction on, you'll get excellent performance, but this is similar to other brands, and this is what you can expect from a new lineup of much more affordable lenses. So yeah, I'm not going to show you the charts one by one. I refer you back to Dustin Abbott for the 2 videos on these 2 lenses. I respect this man and I trust his findings when it comes to testing the optical performance of lenses. But in my opinion, Nikon is doing something great. However, I do want to see this lineup optimized. I don't want it to be like a bare barrel. I want to see some switches, at least a manual focus, autofocus switch or something like that, one function button, something like that, because we see this in the G lineup from Sony, for example, and we see it from third-party lenses in Sigma, in Tamron. We see some features on the outside. So Nikon, go ahead, produce more of these lenses, but give me some external features and focus on optical performance as much as you can within the price range and the size/weight factor that is very important when it comes to creating content and creating video. That's my take, folks. I think Nikon is offering us more affordable video-focused lenses. What do you think? Write it for me down here in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. And cut.